Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ashton Garrett. I'm the Vice President for the Young Chefs Club, American Culinary Federation. On behalf of the National Young Chefs Club, I would formally like to invite you and thank you for coming to the first ever Young Chefs Club Alligator Demo, hosted by Johnson & Wales and ran by Chef Castra. We are very excited to have this for you. People abroad, thank you so much for tuning in. We're really excited and we can't wait to get started. So thank you very much. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you Joshua and Jordan Isaacs. They're the vice presidents and presidents of the ACF Johnson & Wales campus chapter. After you.
Hi, my name is Joshua Isaacs. Like Ashton said, my brother and I are presidents of this chapter here at Johnson & Wales University. And we would just like to thank everyone that is in attendance today. And we hope everyone has fun, get to taste some Gator, and we hope that we can do this event again in the future.
And hello, my name is Jordan Isaacs. Like Ashton said, I'm the co-president with my brother. And we hope everyone has fun. And yeah.
Without further ado, we would like to introduce the person who's going to be demonstrating the alligator demo, Chef Castra.
Thank you, everybody. So welcome. So today we're going to see the fabrication of a small gator. It's something that's indigenous to this area. We all know about that. The products that you see here are from a recent gator that myself and my son caught. This was a small one in comparison to what we've hooked before. 11 and a half feet. The wallet, it's my wallet. It is my wallet, there's nothing in it. $450 to have that fabricated and made by the company in northern Florida that does that. And that's also my $350 belt made from this gator, which was this puppy right here, 11 and a half feet. So expensive stuff to have, but shoes start at $1,500. So let's get that gator up top. There it is. Came in a bag. There's no skin on this one. The skin is taken off. It's a local one from Florida. And there it is. No head. There's no belly, which came from here. That is really what you've got to avoid when it comes to fabricating the gator. I've probably fabricated about 20. From about this size only once. The others way bigger than this table. So head's missing, the guts are out. The belly and the guts are very, very smelly. You've got to make sure that you don't pop those when you're fabricating. So when the skin comes off, then it's called marking. So you make a special hole in the skin to come down one side, then you come down the other side, and then you pull off all that hard skin, and it's called scoots. All those little knobbles and lumps on the back are called scoots, and that retains the heat when the sun hits it, and it keeps the heat within the gator. When the gator's going into cold territory, it keeps the warmth within that. Okay, so let's see what we've got. I do have some gator that's pre-cooked over there, which came from this one right here, that's over there in the Bay Marie. So we've got some very small legs. We've got the hind legs. We got the back strap, which is coming down here. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to show you the fillet. That's what you're going to be tasting today. And then we got the towel. Don't be fooled by what you're told that the towel is the most tender. It's not the most tender. The tenderloin of any creature is the most tender. The towel is very good. But remember, when you're fabricating and when you're cooking alligator, the combination methods are the best. So you're stewing and braising, and that will get it tender. What I had today was a quick saute that I did in my lab a couple of minutes ago. It was the fillet, and it was 8 minutes. And it's going to taste like filet mignon, and this doesn't taste like chicken, okay? You're going to have that pork or that veal texture. That's what it's going to be, okay? So first of all, we'll just get off. I'm just finding out where the ball socket is with my finger, and then I'm just going to whip off the front legs. just knowing where the joints are so that you can remove them. Otherwise, I mean, it's a small one. Then we're going to get to the hind legs in a moment. The ribs are going to be relatively small. So, you know, cut it up, bone in, stew or braise. It's going to be really tender, fall off the bone. It's going to be amazing. Totally bone it, stew it, whatever you want to do. You know, jerk seasoning, make it into a curry, whatever. Get creative. Give it to your guests, and they're just going to think they're eating a pork or a veal curry or a stew. Okay. Just do the back strap. Got to find that bone right down the back. This is so much easier when you're just dealing with something that's already fabricated as far as the skin. The skin's the hardest thing to get off. You've got to really wash it well. It's a bottom feeder. It eats a lot of garbage. It's a horrible skin to touch as far as sanitation. So you really need to scrub with bleach and water when that skin's on there. Get it really clean because of that cross-contamination. Small back strap right there. As with any creature, like I said, with the products that are there from that other big gator that we had, what you do is you get the meat off of the skin, you salt it well. We had 20 pounds of salt on that 11.5-foot gator. Leave it for a month wrapped up in the fridge. Pure meat, no bone, back strap. There's the vertebrae of the spine right there. Once that's sorted, it goes away, gets tanned, you choose your color. That's the color that my son chose. And he had wallets and belts made, bookmarks. Don't know what a bookmark costs, maybe 50 bucks. But it's an expensive process, and this was done at a very expensive places. Many places in Florida will do that tanning, they keep it for about a month, and then they send it back to you. Remember, you have to have a tag for this when you're catching gators. In Florida, you can only have 2 tags a year. They're about $127 a tag. So when I go fishing with my son goes out there, he catches 50, 100 gators a year, but it's catch and release, because when you've got your tags, you're not going to bring home a puppy like this. He's waiting for the big one because it cost $127, and now he's going to sell the meat or keep the meat. And of course, you've got the products here that you can have made up, and you can sell that as well. So you've got a big one, then you've got more of this. Okay, he's going to do something with these scraps. He's going to do bookmarks out of that. You can do that himself. A lot of collagen fat within this. Okay, it's very good protein. A lot of collagen fat in here that will obviously cook off, as you know, within the cooking process. And then the ribs are small. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this tail piece off. We'll do that in a minute. We'll get rid of these back hind legs.
Chef, we do have a question from the viewing audience about what type of protein would you compare the meat of an alligator to?
The taste, you know, obviously the seasoning, you know, whatever. You're going to be thinking you're eating pork. You're going to think you're going to be eating veal. That doesn't taste like chicken. It's a little bit more dense. Chicken's just going to, it's much softer. Pork or veal. I'm just cutting the lower part of the rib here, the belly. Get that off. And that would be good on the barbecue. It's just the belly part. You know what you can do with the belly. There's many things. And we're getting to those ribs on the inside. These are harder to get off than your hind legs. These are the hind legs, sorry, the forelegs. And this would be just like doing a osso buco or something like that, of length of time of cooking if you were stewing or braising. These legs are this size whole, it's going to be 4+ hours, and that will just fall off the bone. So, hind leg. Another one. Now we're getting to the ribs. It's, now, regardless of the creature, once you've done what I've fabricated there, you're going to be looking at that. Regardless of the creature, they all look the same. And there's the tenderloin right there, okay? Either side. Remember, it's a non-working muscle. So that's why it's so tender, and you pay top dollar for that. Non-working muscle. And it's very small. It's like an appetizer. It's small. Okay, the tenderloin. Of course, there's one on each side. And then we get to the ribs. Good to smoke. This is good stuff smoked in a good smoker. So 2 tenderloins, they weigh 2 ounces each. Now the rib. You're looking at about $8 a pound in a good place if you're getting a deal on Gator. A lot of collagen here in the belly. What happens when you have that permit and you go and fish for these gators? You can't just go any time of the year. There's a season, and when you go, you're told when to go and where to go. So we normally go in the Holy Lands off of 27 in the Everglades, and when you're coming off, you've got to be off at that time. You've got to be off at dusk. You've got to be gone and out of the hunting ground. The wildlife and fisheries, the game wardens are all there when you leave, and they check what you've got. It's as simple as that. They'll offer to buy it, and there'll be other people there offering to buy it from you whole. Do what you wish, but you don't just go get one of these and just sneak out. It's totally regulated, and you're watched. Okay, so here's my ribs. Okay, either side, real small. That's like one portion. So just to chine bone, the rib, the vertebrae. I can do this with this knife. Normally it would be a bandsaw on a big one, or a handsaw. Sheet of ribs. One on the other side. Now there's one thing I'll be truthful at. All the gators that I fabricated, I've never made a stock. You know what I mean? Can you make a stock? Of course you can. But I've never had gator stock. Okay, ribs, 2 of them. And we'll get to the tail piece, which is very, very fleshy, very tender. But then again, these tenderloins obviously speak for themselves. The tail piece can be just as tender. It just depends on who's cooking it. And technically, your tenders are the most tender. So 2 ribs. Okay, 2 ribs there. and then just find out where those vertebrae are on the back, and then we're just coming either side to take off that towel piece. So 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. It looks like a good tenderloin, but that's the towel piece. Again, there's 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. If you did little medallions of the towel piece, just do a little saute, season it up any way you want. This will be nice and tender in 10 minutes. To fabricate something with the skin on and the size of this table, it's a 4-hour job to get. See, the idea is when that skin's coming off, you don't want to puncture that skin. If you want to end up with some product, you don't want any holes in that skin, because then it's just waste of square footage. And it's the same on the other side. There's 2 more. Any questions? What time's dinner, did somebody say?
Chef, I have a question.
Yeah.
I do too, Chef.
If you were to make a stock with alligator, how long do you think it would take to cook it?
I would treat it like chicken. You know, it's not going to be like a beef where it needs to go longer. It's going to be one of the shorter stocks. Yeah.
Do you think it would taste good? Like alligator stock?
No, I don't think anybody's going to be tasting it and saying, "Oh, this is alligator." Okay, it's going to be like, "Wow, I haven't tasted that before." Possibly, they might even say, "Is it a chicken stock?" They might even say that. It's a stock. Then it's, how good did you enhance it? How good was that bouquet garni? How good was that mirepoix? And anything else that went in there? You know?
Where did you learn how to do this?
One day when my son had one of these on the driveway, and he was going to Johnson & Wales at North Miami, and he was in the business program. He did 4 years here, and he said, "Go and have a look on the driveway." Well, when I saw what was next to my car, I kind of lost it. And he said, "How do I cut it up?" So I figured, let's do it. So we took it out the back by the lake, and we started to fabricate. That's how accidental.
Chef, we do have a question that's come in. What is your advice to the young chefs out there who are viewing?
Good viewing. If you're going to catch gator, do it right, do it legal, get the permit. Okay? It's just like anything. If you don't have the license, the permit to do it, you're in trouble with the law. If you're in Alabama or somewhere like that, you can get 125 tags. They only allow you 2 tags. That's your permits for Florida, and that's it.
I think for their career and training.
For their career, the career is great. I mean, think about it. Everybody has to eat, and it's just a good thing. I mean, everybody eats, so everybody should be able to cook, and they can't. So that's why they come here. Great business. You're in it for life. People eat for life. I've got great students here that are doing great things, and they're going to have a job for life.
Chef, I have a question.
Yes.
What's the biggest alligator you ever caught?
It was this one, what I call, I helped my son catch that. 11 and a half, 11.6, 11.7. Yeah, it's the biggest one that I've seen bigger, but that's the biggest one that I've wrestled. Okay, I'm using the word wrestle, What we do, you don't fish for them. When I'm fishing in the Everglades, I'm fishing for bass, I'm fishing for something else, and the gator comes up as I'm winding it in. I just end up with a head on my hook, okay? I get upset. I was fishing, wasn't fishing for gators. But when you're actually going out there at the right time and the right place for these gators, I use a treble hook. It's the size of my hand. It's on a rope, which is the size of an anchor rope. You throw it out, you get it around the belly or the best part of the gator you can, and you foul hook it, and then you're pulling it in. This is where it's very volatile, and you've got to know what you're doing. So you've got to have your gun ready, okay? Our backup is a 357 Magnum, but we have a 357 Magnum bang stick. We normally use the bang stick, so when you get it still, right between the eyes, top of the head, and it doesn't move. Nothing moves with it.
What temperature should the crocodile, or I think gator, be cooked at?
What temperature should it be cooked?
Yeah, and
If you're stewing and braising, it's going to go for a long time on a low temperature, as you know. Something like I said with the fillet or even the towel piece, as I said, little medallions, real thin, quick saute, you can do that in 10 minutes. But if you're doing the likes of this as a braise or a stew, it's going to take hours on a slower gas.
But if you were sauteing, it would be at 165, 145?
Like internal
temperature. Internal temperature.
Oh, final internal temperature, 165. Treat it as, treat it as poultry, 165.
What's the shortest legal length you can take one in at?
Well, that's a good question. I've never seen anything in writing. What's the legal length as far as size? I don't know the answer to that one. I've come off the Everglades with some small ones. At the end of the season, when you haven't got the big one, you wait to get the big one to get your money's worth, and it didn't happen. So you come off with the best thing you can. We came off one year on the last day of the season with a small gator, and wildlife never said nothing to me. They just wanted to see my tag. It's officially in the towel piece. It goes in the towel, and it stays there all through this process up here. So when it comes back to you, that tag is still in there. It's a paper trail from the time that you catch it. It's a nylon indestructible tag with your number attached to your name, and it goes away, gets processed, and it comes back. So you know you're getting the gator. You're not getting something else. You know?
What's the process of getting the tag?
They call it a lottery in Florida. When it's available, you apply, you sign up, and it's a lottery. It's just luck, okay? And then they'll send you a notice and say you won, okay? And then you get it in the mail. Okay?
Like other animals, are the younger ones the most tender?
More tender, yeah.
I think that's pretty much rule of thumb for anything. The younger it is, the more tender it is. Yeah, I would say yes. So if you have got a real big one, it's got some age on it, it's got some mileage, I would definitely do that as a stew and braise, because it's going to be tough. Remember, when you stew and braise, as we all know, it's the toughest cuts of meat. So if something, the older the animal, which you also know, the older the animal, the tougher it is as well. Okay. So that's all the major meat taken off of that. We can work out how we're going to pass that gator around. We've got toothpicks over there for a little snack. I don't want to say gator bites. Okay, that's not gator bites. When you go the Everglades and you get gator bites, you're getting this, and it's that's filet mignon you're getting there today. Okay. But don't get me wrong, gator bites.
We do have a question that's come in about the different cooking methods for different parts of the animal.
Right, okay. So what I suggest is that the likes of your legs, especially the legs, toughest part of the creature, toughest part of any animal, stewing and braising, okay? Maybe cut that into two. Same with this one. These ones a little thinner, go in whole. 3 to 4 hours, closer to 4 hours, going to fall off the bone, and it's going to be awesome. The likes of over here, small medallions, quick saute, can consume it in 8 minutes or so. You might want to roast it and carve it, but carve it thin. Okay, any thick cuts, so you're going to expect to chew on thick cuts, so make sure it's thin. Also, you could do roulades. You could take a little big medallion size, tap it out with a meat mallet, do a roulade, stuff it. Because it's thin, it'll come out tender by being the towel piece. Anything you want to do with the filet mignon, that's going to be tender regardless. Another cooking way, the ribs, obviously you're gonna smoke those, you're gonna grill them. But the key thing with a rib, and everybody does the ribs a different way, is boil them first. Okay, it's a no-brainer. You boil them first, get that collagen off. Okay, it melts off. Now you've seared the meat. Then you can season it up, then you can grill it, do whatever you've got to do to get it tender. If that goes on the grill as is, the collagen's just going to drip off, You're going to have flare up, as they call it, on the grill. You've got all that flame. Then you've got black marks over your protein. That's a carcinogen. That's not good. So, you know, grilling's good, but get the collagen off. You're going to trim it, but you're still going to have it. Okay, then you don't have that flare up on a grill. What else have we got? You know, the towel pieces. Roast it, little medallions, quick saute, even a tap out and a breading procedure, fry it up. It's going to be tender. But the legs, most definitely stewing and braising only. You're not going to get. You're going to chew if you cook that any other way. Yeah.
What's the flavor profile? Is it gamey?
Okay, it's a good question, and it's a generic word that the uneducated people use, gamey. Where did you get it? What is it eating? If it's eating like from just like a nasty area, and it's not, the Everglades flow. The Everglades is clean. It's bottom on the clean. Yes, it's silty, but it's clean compared to other waters. If you were in a, what's the word? There's just like lagoons or something. It's just nasty with no flow for cleansure. That would not be gamey. But if it's from, you know, they say it is what it eats, but if that's from our Everglades, which I believe it is, it's a Florida company, it's not going to be gamey. It's not going to be gamey.
Chef, in terms of seasoning, you know, different proteins apply different seasonings.
Yeah.
What seasoning?
I would get creative and do anything you want. I think rosemary would be very good on this. You know, that's just personal preference because I love rosemary. Anything you want, really. I mean, kids get creative. I would just mess around and totally bone these myself and just do a curry. You know, it's going to work for a while. You know, the longest time is the fabrication. You get that boneless and then cut it up and do a curry. You know, even jerk. You know, but get creative. There's no classic way to season and cook this. It's just what do you feel. Once you know what is tough and what's not tough, then you've got to make that decision on how do I physically cook it. Okay, that's not going to work boneless, diced as a saute. Okay, you'll never chew it down. Question? We got people eating gator over there.
Yeah, so we have the gator passing around.
Comments?
Are there any questions, comments? Anybody?
Comments from the people that are snacking.
Someone describe it.
It's chewy.
Stop that.
Chef, how did you cook it? Did you braise it?
No, he did a quick saute.
I did a quick saute and I did 5 minutes in the oven.
It's in the flavor, whatever it absorbs the flavor or anything you absorb.
It's been there half an hour. I cooked it at 5 to 1.
So everyone,
You know, you shouldn't be chewing.
Yeah, it's not chewy. It's like you can eat it.
Yeah.
Now what part of the that you cooked?
That's the tenderloin. Yeah. They
Anyone
were
have any further questions?
they were that size in the one that I brought, as opposed to these.
All right, guys, let's keep this trying to make more please.
When you're fishing for gator, what kind of bait are you using?
No bait.
No bait?
Just a hook, to foul hook it. Otherwise, I catch it accidentally when I'm fishing, like I said earlier on.
Yeah.
It's going to come up as you're winding it in. It did that when I went fishing with Chef Barber in the Everglades. I was winding in a fish, and I had a gator on the end and didn't tell him. And I wound it right up to the edge of the, he'll tell you, right to the edge of the boat. And he's like, "Can I help you with that fish?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he leaned over, and the gator just went. Yeah, you know what he said.
So now we would just like to thank Chef Castra for taking out his time to demonstrate this for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On behalf of the ACF, we really like to thank Chef Castra, Chef Jackie Plessinger, Chef Kimberly Brown. She is the ACF Vice President for the Southeast region for all coming out today. We hope that you guys learned a lot, enjoyed the food, grew within knowing Alligator. The ACF for me is an organization that I really enjoy, take care of. They've done tremendous things for me in terms of networking, job placement. This job alone has made me network with almost 1,000 chefs on a yearly basis. So if anyone's interested, the ACF is a great networking tool, as in DECA, FCCLA, but the ACF has really driven home for me the process of culinary arts and hospitality as well.
I would also like to touch basis on what our liaison to the national ACF level, Ashton, said. For us, ACF is new again this year because it wasn't here in previous years. And so just so far, getting everything started, getting involved with different chefs, different ACF chefs, and having these type of events, we really enjoy it. We really love learning it. Our ACF club here on campus is very active. We have sous chef certification practices coming up in the future. We plan on doing events in the spring as well. So we want to encourage you guys, if you're not involved with ACF, please get involved. This is a great way to gateway into your career when you leave this campus and to network as well.
Right now we're going to have Chef Kimberly Brown say a few words about the ACF and her experiences.
My experiences? Well, thank you guys for hosting this. It's great. I was in Miami visiting the Dade campus, and when I found out about this, I said I got to come and see this and check this out. So we got to get this to South Carolina. Lord knows. So when they want to do them, I can figure out now what to do with it. And I loved it. The meat was very tender. It was good. And you're right. It is more of a Bill tenderloin, pork loin kind of flavor to it. It was really good. So I would encourage everybody who's got questions, who's not a member of the ACF club here, to get activated, to get joined up. It's a great way to network and hone in your skill as a professional organization for ACF, for cooks and chefs and educators. There's no better way to professionalize and build up upon your careers, in the profession. So stick with him. He's been great. I look forward to doing some more things with him, and I'll see him in Charlotte at our Southeast Regional, Northeast Regional Chef Connect in February 25th. So hope to see you guys there.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
See you later, Alligator.
If you guys have class and you might be a little late.